All right, all right, all right. Phoenixes are rising. How are you doing? Thank you so much for participating. That is my phone. I have no idea who's trying to contact me, but thank you. Appreciate you guys. So I have been on a bit of a hiatus, healing, growing, uh, getting back to myself, having some. Um, Sorry, I'm doing this at the same time, trying to. Um, so just getting back to the Most High. So anyway, let me introduce myself. I am your transformational coach T, and that is with a capital T. And my focus is on uh, helping coaching Black, lesbian, and trans women 30 to 50 who don't know how to identify and get free of toxic patterns so they can regain their confidence and clarity, have genuine support during their healing journey after narcissist abuse, and reconnect with their authentic selves. And of course, build a life of no regrets. They need support in someone who speaks their language and is committed to guiding them on their journey. And that is me, Coach T. I am not just a coach, I am also a survivor of gang stalking, witchcraft, and narcissist abuse for over 10 years. In those 10 years, I was homeless for 3 years. I survived because the divine took me through 4 steps to my spiritual, financial, physical, and mental freedom. Number one, reveal patterns and beliefs that keep us in poverty mentality in all areas of our lives and not living from our authentic self. Two, heal. When trauma happens, we don't always get the bigger picture. We just get a fragment of it. So, understanding everything that took place, the who, what, when, where, why, how, right? Understanding this can bring healing if you let it, if you're honest with yourself. So it goes back to that saying, if you know better, you do better. Number 3, grow to release fear, guilt, and shame and forgive others, including yourself. You're no longer carrying the baggage that was never yours. And energetically, it gets transferred from you back to the people who burdened you with it. And if it's a burden that you caused for yourself, you take responsibility from that and for that. And then you, of course, go through 1 and 2 to get that healing and understanding and why you did what you did. And, you know, the the uh well why you did what you did. Sorry, my fur baby was on me. For some reason they're really riled up. And then the last one is show. Okay, so when we show, it's when you go out and you start living in a different uh way. You don't do the things that you used to do. You're a new you because why? You did the other 3 steps. Okay, so when similar situations arise that may have triggered you or that you would have a reaction to, and now you don't. And people are looking at you funny because you've done this way for 10 years and they knew how to get inside and trigger you to get a reactions for their entertainment and enjoyment. Now you're not doing it. Now they're suspicious. Okay, so which is on them, it's not on you, but that's one way, an indicator that okay, you're not the same, right? So the healing is not easy. Um, it's quite ugly as well, and it's quite painful. If you desire to go deep, a lot of people go on the surface, and I am the type of transformational narc coach um, that I'm not going to breastfeed my Phoenix Rising Academy. I'm not going to do that. So I'll come to you with love, but I'm going to let you know where your uh where you're, and I don't want to say falling short, but where you're skimping, right? Where you're skimping. Okay. So anyway, I have some links that are scrolling past. If you guys want to join my Patreon, if you want to, I have a new digital art site. I am an artist as well as a filmmaker and photographer, though I haven't rebuilt my portfolio with new pieces yet because I've been so busy. So, anyway, but you can go and check out my digital art. I've been working a lot with AI and it's absolutely gorgeous. And there's this, I have a Koji link that's down there, if you guys can write it down and type it into your browser and go check it out. And I also have some other links if you want to ask me a question about transitioning, meaning, how do I transition from being in cluster B, relationships to now living from my authentic self? How do I do that? Or which I'll share with you guys pretty soon here. How do I, uh, how do I, how do I handle not being inundated, bombarded, barraged, lambasted by the narcissist, uh, cluster B personality, that cocktail, by them, uh, or the gang stalkers, or their flying monkeys? What is it like to have peace? What do I do? Is there something wrong? Right? I have PTSD because which is what being gang stalked causes. And I've said this before and I will say it again. Say it with me, Phoenixes. Rising Academy. Gang stalkers are a sorority for cluster bees and their flying monkeys to get their rocks off. Okay, that's what it's for. um That's what happens. But you do, of course, anybody who is a group of people who are gaslighting you that you don't know, from various races, cultures, economic backgrounds, you know, and genders, gay, straight, doesn't matter, trans, doesn't matter, and they're stalking you and they're harassing you for what? For nothing that is justifiable. Nothing that is justifiable. So when that leaves you, when you've grown to a point, as I've shared with you guys, if you guys go back to some of my other podcasts, as I shared with you guys, when you grow to that point where you're it's no longer getting to you, right? And but you're not in the environment, right? The Most High told you, hey, you can go now, right? Because I'm about ready to Sodom and Gomorrah these MFs. Okay, because that's what's going to happen with some of them, with many of them, and right now they're trying to escape. So anyway, the topic is, um, so that's on my Koji link. So basically, if you want to ask about transitioning, if you want to ask about like how what do I do, how do I heal, how do I love myself, how do I keep myself from always feeling this impending doom, or like I'm still walking on eggshells even though they're not around. There's some self healing, some self care. I will, and I love, oh my God, I love it. I love hot water. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, what I'll do is I'll splash cold water, um, kind of wake me up or whatever. But I love hot water. I will take a shower. You don't understand how, maybe some of you do, hopefully, right? That how taking a nice hot shower and having that hit your skin. It's like a blanket, but not only that, you're purifying yourself. Right? Like some people's like, okay, I want to go to the ocean, I want to go to the beach. Well, a lot of it's polluted. And if you can't go, you can go, you got a bathtub, you got a shower, you can, go there and hop in with all the fixins. you know get your bubble bath on. I know when I take mostly showers now because I just like, and I when I'm in a shower, I chant. I have a mantra that I chant, and or sing, and just go from there. And just as I'm washing, because it's usually a healing mantra, or it's a mantra that's purging me of the psychic attacks, the witchcraft that has been done. One way to clear off away the witchcraft and the psychic attacks and things of that nature is through mantra, but specifically is clearing your chakras, because what they're attacking you when you are being attacked. So this goes into the gang stalking narcs and how to know who is who in spiritual warfare. So the way that you keep your connection, right, to the most high, and your intuition clear, is by clearing your chakra. Okay, so you clear your Muladhara chakra, you clear your Swadhisthana chakra, you clear your Manipura, excuse me, your Anahata, your Vishuddhi, your Agnya, and your Sahasrara. Now, your Sahasrara is the highest, right? So that's when you're getting to your agnia, your throat. See, so basically you're curing, healing what they were attacking. Because when people are attacking you, what are they trying to attack? They're trying to attack your confidence. They're attacking your confidence. Not trying, they're attacking your confidence. They're attacking uh your stability, right? So I know how I experienced gang stalking was to where people were, you know, uh, making creating a hostile environment. It started with that first, right? Then the slander came, and the accusing of being a pedophile. And one person accused me of, I mean, if I wasn't a pedophile, then I was a fat bitch. If I wasn't a fat bitch, then I was schizophrenic. I mean, they were just always throwing these things at me. Now, mine has been for 12 years, and it's been very interesting. Um, because it was started before I became homeless. It started 5 years before I became homeless. And in those the 5 year the 3 well, I would say the 5 years. The 5 years after when I became homeless, and then getting up off the streets, the sabotage, the literally trying to kill me. Because when you were actually doing your work, right, when you were doing your soul work, like I took that opportunity to do my soul work, to find out what nobody know how how nobody in my family was able to do such and such. Why are we broke? Why are we poor? Why are we in these relationships? I never wanted to get into a relationship with anybody. I mean, I tried, and literally it was like, early 20s, probably around 22. I was like, I'm done. Because at that time, for me, you had to start as a lesbian too. You had to start filling out applications. Like, I was going to school, I had a job, and I had a car, and I was loving, and I was healing. I was healing myself still. I was never perfect. But, I realized that the dating, um, people who are always us empaths, we are natural healers, and especially when we are young healers. We're not really, some of us don't even know what the term empath at that time means. All we know is that somebody is hurting and we need to heal them. And sometimes, if we've grown up in narcissistic cluster B family homes, right, families, we are the usually the garbage can, the scapegoat, the black sheep. And so it's, I don't know about anybody else, but I know that most of the time, uh, it's this, I'm the fixer, right? I'm the fixer, I'm the healer, I'm the garbage can, I'm the kicking, I'm the whipping post, I'm everything, right? So then when we get out, it's like, okay, well, I've been everything, and this person needs healing, so I know that I have the ability to heal this person, right? But what we don't realize is, in healing people and not allowing them to go through the process. See, I was doing God's job, right? And that's the most important thing is a relationship with the Most High, is getting to know, and that's what I found when I was homeless on the streets, is my relationship with the Most High. Like I had one, but we always said we're always growing and we're always evolving. So that way our God has to evolve, right? And my God had to evolve. And my God evolved up until a certain point, and then I went dormant. I went dormant. And at this point in time, I can't recall why I went dormant, because it was before gang stalking or anything like that. I went dormant because I attended a college that introduced me to such unfiltered, unadulterated evil on a biblical proportion, in my eyes, at least, the way my spirit felt, that just me, the demon, the principality over that town, I mean, just sought us out, sought light workers out. And it was very oppressive. It was very, at that time, I had no idea what cluster B personalities were or what they did, and how they could literally come in like an F5 tornado and tear your world apart. Excuse me, I had no idea. All I know is that whatever the evil that I felt coming from working out, and eating healthy, eating clean, pretty clean, being extremely active though, that it being in that environment, it drained me so bad, and it scared me, it frightened me, it gave me so much anxiety, the hostility, the murderous rage that seemed to surround and just be in the atmosphere, like you were breathing it in, whether you wanted to or not, right? So, but being in that type of energy, those particles seem to seep in through to my pores and change this healthy, strong, tone, fit body of mine. And all of a sudden, I looked like I had spent my time eating nothing but carbs, fast food, and sodas. And I still don't eat that way today. But at least today, and if you guys go to my podcast talking about um, weight and stress fat, not specifically, just sharing the wisdom that the Most High gave me. And because I have worked out all my life, and I will say this, I worked out for the last 5 years or 3 years. Like, well, let's say 4 years, because the first year of being homeless, it was like I was so discombobulated, and the only thing I knew was get a job, get a job, get a job, get a job, get a job. Um, and that's what I was focused on. So later on, I would, once I was living out of a van, I would be pushed by the Most High, by Spirit and my guides, to um, get a membership and go to back to the gym. I have never had, see, I always intuitively know, and I build up muscle very quickly. But one thing that I have denied myself is the stress fat, right? It's not about what I've eaten, because I eat healthy. I prefer salads. I prefer fruits and vegetables. I just went to uh, Food for Less, and I spent $20 on 2 bags of vegetables. I did get some, I think they're cupcakes. No, they're muffins, chocolate chip muffins, right? And it's because it's that time of month, so I need that. But it's not something I do all the time, right? I mean, when I was homeless on the streets, is like I had done a fit club, and I was dropping, I was toning up, and just whatever. And I pointed out to somebody, and he, especially the Most High, but I pointed out to a counselor of mine. I said, you know what? Every time I seem to get focused and start really getting into my purpose and really getting in, sometimes Phoenix is rising. Your purpose is simply, your purpose is simply just to be your authentic self. Your purpose is just to do what your heart says to do. That's sometimes that's it. I love working out. I love taking photographs of nature, of animals, of, kind of urban decay, you know? I like that grimy, not grimy, but grainy black and white look, that Ansel Adams, with a twist, urban twist, I like that. But I said to the Most High, I said, Ma, why is it that every time I go to do the things that I love to do, it always seems like I get hit by a Mack truck and then have to come back up again to restore myself? You know what I mean? Like it's like I get hit so hard, I get blindsided. When some of the times comparatively, it wasn't that bad, but when you're being gang stalked, it's like they seem to know because of the demons that they've let into themselves. And this is true. They do, at least these guys here, they do make pacts with demons. They make pacts with Santa Muerte here. So, and Muerte requires a sacrifice. And, people who always argue, oh, she's not a demon. Yeah, she is a demon. She was created as a demon by the Catholic Church. I have an article written by somebody who is Latin or Hispanic, Spanish speaking. So, you know, so anyway, that's on a whole nother scale because you're dealing with people who aren't people. They're just hosts for demonic demons to work through them. And these people that I was around were even engaging their kids into this. And I don't want people to use their imagination, but what ensues with the occult mentality and the cult that involves kids, we all know that that's not working, right? We all know what that entails. Um and I've seen it. I mean, even with animals, I haven't seen it, but my spidey senses, the thing about being an empath, and which a lot of people kind of, that's why we start to turn ourselves off, which is kind of what I did. But when you are powerful, you can't, right? And one thing that I realized on the streets, or I felt, which is why I'm so excited, to have this course for you guys, this 8-week course, once I get through transitioning and I get time. It's I believe it's a little over $1,200, and it's 8 weeks with weekly Zoom calls to discuss the worksheets, because you are doing work, and the quizzes and things of that nature, and to discuss how we feel about it, how you guys feel about hey, how did this make you feel to realize that you had been carrying the burden of something that you could not escape, and you were in survival mode, and that's why you did what you did, right? Doesn't make it go away, but you don't need to carry that guilt now that you know and understand. Sometimes we need to get together. My goal is to provide a safe online community for Black LGBTQ AI, or at least for lesbians and trans, is my focus, for where we can talk about these things, right? Because it's really in the Black community. This is why I focus on lesbians and trans that are 30 to 50 years old. Number one, because that's my age range. Number two, so I can come to you with that experience plus some. But number two, because it's seen as Black people just like drama, right? You're sassy, you're aggressive. This is what you get. This is what you guys thrive off of, right? This is what propels you to get through the day, right? Is the drama. And that, I mean, there's partially true, because we grow up in houses like that, and we become addicted to drama, We become addicted to the drama, sometimes not even consciously. We think that, okay, well, because I grew up like that, this is the way that things are, you know? So sometimes we just become addicted to the drama because we don't know anything better, right? And sometimes when we don't realize when those toxic behaviors stop serving a purpose, right? And all of a sudden we start going backwards, right? So to create that type of community where we can call each other out respectively and constructively, right? But also provide that warmth, provide um that love, that understanding, that empathy, right? With Phoenix's Rising Academy, you can be yourself. That's the whole purpose, is to get you to live from your authentic self, because only you can love you. When all is said and done, people were asking, why have you been single for over 15 years? Because then here's why. For a time, and I talked about this too in another podcast. So you guys are going to have to go search through my podcast. But I talked about the fact that the more a lot of people stop growing, they stop doing the things that are helping them grow wiser, spiritually, intellectually, financially, right? We stop that. Why? Because people around us are jealous. And when people around us are jealous, whether they're cluster B personalities or not, when they become jealous, what do they try and do? Sabotage, bully, intimidate, threaten, use force in some situations, right? So, and I've experienced, trigger warning, I have experienced that when people, um, people really could not understand, like, why do you not want to have sex? Like, are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital? I don't have sex with the body. I have sex with the spirit. I am making love to the spirit. I'm not making love to your bank account. I'm not making love to your eyelashes or your, updo or your hair extensions or whatever. I'm not making love to the car, right? I'm making love to a fellow spiritual being having a human experience. And what I found is that I was being a mammy to a lot of people who didn't think that, hey, maybe I should try and catch up. No, when they felt rejected, they felt like they had every right to come and attack. And I know that other people have had this experience. Like every time I'd break up, I'd be afraid to break up with somebody because the reaction would be so violent, you know? So um yeah, it's when you so it's just providing that community, because many of us, and mine was at a young age. Like I have not dated in a long time. Long time. I think I tried, and then I get and especially now, like I hung up on somebody today. I was like, well, I was having an interview for something, not a job. I'm employed, but just, I was having an interview, and the person was like, well, I said, nope, never mind. I said, I'm no longer wish to apply. Please put down that I've canceled or whatever. We don't have to have this discussion again. I said, and I told her bluntly, it's really weird. Not weird, but it's exciting, when you see your own growth and you see that you haven't backslid, right? Because you'll be tempted to. You'll be, and not that you'll be tempted, but it's the focus of our enemies. It's the focus of demonic entities. It's like, we were supposed to, there was a period, from really 2000 and 10, or no, 2000. When was the Twin Towers? The Twin Towers was basically the portal for demons to come in and raise havoc. That was a full-on satanic ritual. Whether people want to admit it or not, that's on them, but it was. So, and well, many of us suffered. We felt it, as empaths now. I mean, it kind of validated us, our empathy, as not just being somebody who feels sorry or feels warm when they see a cute puppy or kitten, but empathy. My definition of empathy is to be able to read somebody's spirit deeply on a cosmic level. In some cases, if you're that powerful of an empath, like, and I mean, like people, it kind of seemed like people would breathe and I would be able to get their life story, not wanting to, um, a lot of people, or excuse me, no, I have to stop saying a lot. There are some people who are trying to downplay empathy as something that is solely created from being in a traumatic, in going through trauma. And that is not the case, right? We're a mixed bag. So you have some of us who have been through something, and I've, as I've explained, if you go through some of my other podcasts, and I'm getting better at doing this podcast thing. I just like talking to you guys, but that's, we're a mixed bag, is what I was saying. We're a mixed bag, which means, and as I've talked about in the podcast, is that I've done, is that we have natural gifts. Those, and this was so flippin' awesome. So I started this job, and and met some cool, like-minded people. I was like, oh my God, yes. I'm starting to go ahead and stretch and fall off the bed, girl. Get on. Prosperity. Sorry. My dog was, Prosperity was getting ready to stretch. So, and I'm grateful that they see these guys are feeling comfortable now too, because we've transitioned out. And doesn't mean that all of our problems are, all the problems are solved, but it just means that now the Most High has room to uh, put his foot down on the backs of my enemies. So I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful that I have um, a relationship uh, with my spiritual team and my soul tribe. So anyway, back to it. It was so cool because so I'm meeting people who think like me. And okay, so here's a tip number one when transitioning out of gang stalking, narcs, and you know all of that. When you're transitioning and you're going to a new place, you cannot take the way that you used to do things because it's not the same environment. You can't take old tools into a new environment. What you did in, Kalamazoo is not going to work in Timbuktu. So, a tip, take your time because you've grown. You're not weak, you're not battered, you didn't fail. You've gotten out, your brain's foggy. Recognize the symptoms. This is what I take you guys through the 8-week program from sealed to healed. Okay, is you get we're the first. It's a 2-part uh, program. So first is getting to know the narcissist, the cluster Bs, the definitions. Who are they? Why do they do what they do? And for me, what makes me special as a coach is that I am coming from the spiritual, not the clinical, which is not a bad thing. But I am a coach. I am not a licensed psychiatrist or psychologist. I am a coach. Nor am I, into the other stuff. But I do read about it quite frequently. But I'm coming from the spiritual. the esoteric, so that's what makes me different. So when you're describing a feeling or a sensation, or it's like I was thrown off about this, and I noticed that people fight it because they don't want to seem crazy. They don't want to seem like one of these these new age, cuckoos. And it's like, that's not new age. This has always been in this realm. See what ends up happening when you, and I've talked about this as well, cluster bees as a race, as a culture, right? So when you have when you have a group of collective narcissists, right? There was a tribe called the Ashkenaz that, and I don't know if they're any relation to the Ashkenaz Nazi, and I don't even know how to pronounce it, but or the Khazars, the Sephardi, and all that stuff. But my point of bringing this up is that they ended up eating each other and fighting each other and killing themselves off to extinction. Okay, because they were a group of of narcissists, so they were inbreeding and stuff like that, and there's brain damage and da 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 da, and yeah, they're no longer here. Okay, so that's something to think about. So the thing, and just like, so let's say you have insects, you have cockroaches, right? And you're spraying Raid, right? Just a regular Raid, the 1970s Raid. You're just spraying that Raid on them, okay? But by generation to generation, let's say that you spray a pregnant cockroach and she lives through it, right? The babies that she's carrying, once get a resistance towards it. Okay, there's scientific evidence of the scientists, uh, thought about that, talked about that. So there's scientific evidence. So it's the same thing with cluster B personalities. It's the same thing with the malignant narcissist. They learn. They're not highly intelligent. They just learn. People think that you're highly intelligent in this country, in the United States especially. It's deemed high intelligence when you don't have empathy and can go get what you want, that you are solely focused on elevating your ego, on fulfilling your carnal desires, and not looking at the global picture. That's something that is in the United States, right? And maybe other places that I won't name because I don't want to get in trouble. But like I said, I'm not fully back yet. But for some reason, I wanted to get on and talk to you guys because I actually really do miss you guys. And I know um, not a lot of followers. So if you are coming across this, please just give it a thumbs up, just so people know that there's a transformational coach, narc coach out here. And I think there's some good discussions, there's some good talks that I've had. And still the goal is to get some actual professionals in the field. Uh, Shahidi Arabi, Shadi Arabi, I think she's on YouTube, and she's on um, Instagram, and she has some beautiful articles. But anyway, so it's just like basically the way that the cockroaches, bugs, or insects evolve after so much pesticide, they get that resistance. So do cluster B personalities. So does the malignant narcissist. They get that resistance to, or they learn. So this tribe in the future, if there were survivors, because there before I saw that PBS special or whatever it was a documentary. Before I saw that, uh, I had always heard that, hey, these people almost went extinct, and to stay alive, they inbred a lot. Which is why people are talking about, okay, well, this person's in the bloodline, and their cousins, their brothers, da 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 da. Okay, so that's, but understand that. So with cluster B personalities, what they got to do is they use us. They use the empath. It's not a natural gravitational, obviously. Obviously it wasn't. It was a learned new behavior that was passed down from generation to generation to generation to prevent themselves from eating themselves, right? So one thing, and I've seen this because I've always wondered it, but I didn't know until now, right? So now I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, and I think I've been knowing, I've been led up to this, but I remember like way back when was like, oh my gosh, why do these? Because I didn't know what to call them. I just called them demons because I came from a Christian background. And I said, these guys are demon possessed, right? And which is not which is true. Um, but now we've just added some detail to it. But I was like, oh gosh, these guys are demon possessed. And I noticed that they always flock towards somebody who's nice and loving, and they're always degrading, you know, always degrading. But anyway, so I talked to this sister who we were on the same level, and I was like, okay, maybe she's a subscriber. you know, but I just met her, and this was at my job, and I was like, oh my gosh. So, somebody else understands, somebody else is elevated. And I mean, actually, like awake, not fake woke, not it's pop culture woke, not millennial woke. They're woke, on a cosmic level. And oh, she said that somebody told her in their conversation, she said that he said, it's so he said, some we are spiritual beings. We are we are, we are not of this world. And that is all the way that I've always felt. We are not of this. I'm not of this world, right? Earth angel. I understood that when, Doreen Virtue came out with that, and, the book, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's me. Okay. But, I'm getting closer now. I'm getting closer, to finding, going back to my roots. But he said, some people are just merely human, and they're mad about it, right? And whereas there are people, like, you can call yourself chosen or whatever, right? It's not a bad thing. It's just, but some people are just merely human, while other people are chosen, are true spiritual beings, right? And they're mad. And so there's this war. That's the spiritual warfare. The spiritual warfare with these demons, with demons and us earth angels, is that why the hell do you get to have God's blessing and we don't? We're going to punish you because we know that when you transition and leave this ship of a body, this fleshly body, that when you transition, you're going to go back to being in a good place. And really, I don't remember any mansions. I think that's the mansions are talking about the zodiac sign, oh gosh, what is it called? The Kalindia or something like that. The Dendra or something like that. Anyway, but that's what it's talking about. It's those many rooms in my father's kingdom. That's what they're talking about. Is the astrological, because as above, so below. And another thing I wanted to point out. So spiritual warfare is it was started by the jealousy. That's why, I mean, you get these people who house these demons, and they already got a wound. That demon is attaching to the wound. So for somebody to say, hey, these guys are so tired of just being merely human, they have no supernatural strength, they have no abilities to reach a higher level, they are always and permanently going to be bottom feeders. That's their status. That's their bloodline. That's it. That's it. They may present themselves. See, that's why narcissists will always present themselves as being better than everybody else. And sometimes it's not even better. See, the thing with the narcissist is that people are expecting them to be loud and obnoxious. And again, go back to the cockroaches and then the evolving from the pesticide, right? Is that they learn through society. That's why it seems as if they are like the perfect, some of them, not all of them, because you get those who are so cocky and so fucking arrogant, that and so sloppy, that they really feel that because they have the ability, right, to use witchcraft on somebody, whether you say no or not, they already know. And in my writing my book, I've continued to write my book, uh Phoenix Rising. about my being homeless and living with this one person who basically helped me to understand. Like, I thought I had healed from my childhood, growing up with a malignant, psychopathic, narcissistic, father, who cared nothing about me. He couldn't even look me in the eyes. And when I started going over that and healing even deeper from that, because when you know better, you do better. And this goes back to the four steps: reveal, heal, grow, and show, that I take my clients through. If you're going to get a 90, it's $90 for a 60-minute session, known to go over 15-30 minutes. But when you get that, we're going to go through that. It's like, so if you have something, it's like, gosh, this is bugging me. So what has been revealed? Because if it's bugging you, that means that the Most High is trying to reveal something to you. So sometimes it's good to write it down, right? On a notebook. This is what the purpose of journaling is: getting out everything that we've picked up as antennas, right? The receptors. Empaths are sponges, and people sometimes throw up their shit on us, right? So you so we go through and you journal, and free writing is the collective consciousness of of everybody who you've passed coming out. That's what free writing is. um and I used to do that all the time. But it's also, that's how I got to know my guides, you know. And again, it's all basically phoenixes. I'm want to get you to your authentic self, and transitioning starts first with your mind. And people have to really understand that, because these reptilians will come in all shapes, sizes, and forms. When the Most High revealed to me my soulmate, which did not mean that I was going to be with her, and I accepted that, but we had a natural telepathic communication, and that was beautiful. But because there was an entity through somebody else that was so jealous, it started to uh, morph into her and into my kin. And I was like, no, you're not her. You know, until basically this, the entity in this person, basically went in, and I never understood this. I guess it's the first time that I had somebody, like you see it on the movies, where they swap bodies or whatever. That's actual witchcraft. That's what people will actually do, through her eyes. Delves into that. If you haven't seen that, I think it's still on Netflix. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, that talks about it. So, but this person, I would see her because that's my gift, clairsentient and clairaudient, and Claire. Um, anyway, and so I would see her. That I mean, I hated going to sleep because it's like I'd cover myself. The worst thing is when you're fasting, you're doing spiritual baths, and you're just not the person is just not stopping, right? Like, it's not that you're not able to get rid of the entity or the person, the fragmented human spirit, because that's what you're doing when you're astral projecting and terrorizing people, as this woman was doing to me, because she felt that I did not deserve to have a connection with my soulmate, because she wanted to be my soulmate. She literally wanted to hold me hostage and terrorize me and use me however she wanted to use me. This is true. And so when she figured that I was resistant to it, that I had protection, right? Sometimes I know Phoenix's Academy, Rising Academy, I know that we feel like, oh my gosh, well, gosh, if God is here, then why am I going through this? And why is this? And why is that? Because the huge, you know, 3 times the size of the Earth asteroid that was coming for you didn't hit. Priorities. We had to triage that shit, dude. We had to triage it, you know? And I know though when you're going through it, because and sometimes I have to get my mind out of that. And I said, so as soon as I start thinking like that, I say, you know what? Thank you that I took a breath today. Thank you that I didn't have a heart attack because they were infiltrating my body and trying to cause me to have a heart attack using witchcraft. Thank you that I was able to go get a job today. Thank you that I got my paycheck because they were trying to create chaos with my bank. Thank you that I didn't get shot or hit or punched or anything else like that because they were attacking me while I was walking and trying to trigger me to do or say something, right? So you start getting into this gratitude. Thank you that I have all my bones in their working order because they were trying to cause me to have a disability or a physical illness or get a virus or something, right? So when when they try and get you, because that's the foothold for the devil, right? That's a foothold for these reptilians. And so you don't give your archons and all that stuff. So these lower demonic entities working through these people. Okay. So you do the gratitude. Spiritual warfare is not something to play with. So when you go through these, whether you take the 8-week program when it finally launches, or whether you do a 90-minute session with me, it's all going to be focused on getting you to think about what you're thinking about. Because once you master your mind, once you understand how your mind works, once you understand why you're being attacked. When I understood, Phoenixes, why I was being attacked, why I was being gang stalked, because I said too much. And we went through a period, I believe, from 2005 or 2004, 2005 on up until right now. It's now fading out. How many years is that, you guys? Where we weren't, so we where people, they wanted to shut people up, so they did this mass horrific ritual, satanic ritual, to screw with your mind, your body, your spirit, to screw with your safety. This a collective, a group of collectivist narcissists who want to be worshipped, who don't want to be questioned, right? So, and excuse me if I'm going around because I have brain fog. It's still, and it's not because of transitioning. It's because the attacks are still going on. But I just love it when God shows up, right? Because when these guys know that they're heading out, that they got to take. You can't get away with doing evil to a group of people who have never done anything to you. You're not going to. I know. See, once you get to know your mind, Phoenixes, again, forgive me for bouncing around, but once you get to know your mind, it partially is brain fog because, I don't have to walk through a barrage of psychic attacks. I mean, it was getting so thick. I don't know what they were doing. I remember seeing somebody's babalao or something, whatever they call those, the priests of uh, certain religious sect or whatever. Um, I saw the guy. He sprayed powder. See, a lot of people don't know that we're gifted. They think that we're like them. I never have ever had to go to an altar. If I make an altar, I make an altar for communion, for conversation, for respect. I don't make an altar uh like I went to the store. Literally, I went to the store. I wanted to take a picture of it. I'll take a picture of it later on. But I went to the store and they didn't have Santa Muerte out there because they didn't want, people to be like, "Oh my God, you worship Satan." Because she is nothing but bones and a statue made up. But they had, an altar right in front of the cash register, or on the side of the cash register, by the door, by the ice cream. And they had all this ritualistic, crap on there. And I mean, it's one thing for it to be cultural, but it's one thing to push it onto somebody. Because through Santa Muerte, these people are doing death spells. These people are doing graveyard, coffin spells, glamour spells, chaos spells, destroy all spells, right? And that's a candle. That's a candle that you burn for 7 days, and every day until up till the 7 days are up, and maybe probably a little bit after, right? So up until that day, you are throwing negativity. You are putting negative energy out into the world, right? So my goal from Phoenix Academy, Rising Academy, is to sh- teach you what I was taught, right, by the Most High. I didn't have a support system, right? I still don't. Besides the spiritual team that I don't have humans who support me. And I've really have never had humans that have supported me to the extent that they didn't want anything back. Very few, very, very few. But because was so disappointed, I didn't really appreciate them. And that always, it's like now I'm conscious of it. If I'm blessed, I know I'm meeting my soul tribe, because I'm in a place where this is my soul tribe. Like, this is where I'm at now. This is my home. This is where I was born. Right. And so this is my turf, and it's a more feminine vibration, whereas where I was before was more masculine. Right. So it doesn't mean that, I mean, there's succubus energy here, of course, more than there is that god of war energy, from where I was coming from. And I've noticed that. But that the female, right, is what, that feminine energy. Now, it doesn't matter whether I mean, I consider myself trans, or STEM, stud, whatever. It's what is your core? If I'm a healer, I have to come with this energy. It has nothing to do with gender. It really doesn't. You know, for the longest time, it's like people's like, oh, well, you're not really a woman. You're a man. You were born biologically a man, but that doesn't mean that that's what their spirit is. I'm a transformer, but my core is feminine. you know and it's weird, because there was one time where people would like, okay, you're a stud, you're a stud, you're a stud, you're a stud. And I was like, I don't feel like a stud, you know what I mean? And so I think I just got tired of being trapped in that. So that's the whole thing. It's like being free to be you, and not allowing somebody to put a label, because once they label you, they can put you on a shelf in this section with the barcode, you know once they label you, right? That's a part of spiritual warfare as well, you know um so I know I'm skipping around. I had this thing. Oh, and just that I wrote myself at work. I'm back to doing that again, which is absolutely delightful. And in transitioning, Phoenixes, it's so, another tip. Enjoy. I started laughing. I started singing. I was like, oh my gosh, like I was looking outside of myself doing this. I'm like, oh my God, I'm singing, you know? My stomach, my intestines relaxed, because we weren't under stress. Everything for me goes to my digestive system. Pardon me. My enemies knew that. And one time, so here, quick story. I was working out. As I said, okay, I've quit smoking, so intermittent fasting is out, because I'm not going to be able to do it, um, like I was. And I knew that the only reason why I was able to intermittent fast, not that I had, because when you're constantly under stress, stress fat has to do with leptin. So, yeah. Anyway, um, I forgot where I was going with that, but anyway, um, oh, come on, come on, come on. Oh, well, anyway, I'll just it'll come back to me if it needs to. So anyway, I was just, a tip is enjoy the feeling. Pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to your body. Check on yourself, right? Like that's the thing that people have been saying. It's like check on yourself. Check on yourself. Do a body check. How do you feel? So when we moved, when we transitioned and got into a safer place, a better place, and I mean, my digestive system was just like bloop, 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 right? Even the girls, even my fur babies were like, and not to disgust anybody, but they were pooping good. And really, the reason why that is a good thing is because I can tell the difference when they're stressed versus now where it's even flow because they can feel the difference, right? They're emotional. I have an empathic fur daughter who can tell. She'll sniff a car passing. She has, I mean, I kind of hurry her, because I've had to, but now it's like we're rebuilding our relationship and our closeness and, reacquainting ourselves with one another. And I remembered it's like, okay, yeah, because I told her to be vigilant because when she was a puppy, I was chanting, I was meditating, I was chanting and meditating and sending her vibes, not anything selfish as a pet owner, quote unquote, but just, as a mother, like I'm just here to take care of you. That's it. Right? Whatever your fur babies, people don't think this, but they have a destiny too. I don't know what that is. I don't know what she's supposed to be challenging herself with. You okay, sweetheart? Love you. But it's like now we play, we do things. It's like because we're not under uh narcissistic rule, right? I'm not under that gang stalking. We were in a house of we were in a den of demons. And that's what the Most High revealed to me. It's like, you got to understand, right? You're trying to build, you're trying to transition, you're trying to build a business in an area that has that has no love or life in it. It's not going to work. It's not, I mean, they were sabotaging me from getting a business bank account. They even sabotaged me from filing my LLC without, I mean, like it just creeped up on me. And a lot of the things that they were doing, I didn't even know until like it got so exhausting the things that they were doing to sabotage me. Like how do you keeping somebody from having a business account? Your FTB, the FTB, the member, the people, employees at the FTB were actually sabotaging my LLC, the filing, the paperwork, all that stuff. Like I was able to file it and whatnot, but there was something else going on. And I'm like, okay, it just feels like. And then when I put in an application, right, they were like, okay, well, we can't take this. But he kept it for 3 months. And not only did this guy keep it for 3 months, he came to my PO box and kept sending things to my PO box. And even though it's legal for me to have it, he was like, well, he sent the check back and everything else. Like, no, we don't take this anymore. And there's going to be a lot of people who don't know. There's not going to be a lot of people, dude. There's only you, you know? So I, that's why I'm writing my book. And just the hopes, but so when you transition, enjoy, gosh, dang it. This just started. It's a little tickle in my throat. Thank you. Enjoy your freedom. Feel what it feels like to be free so that way you can log and file it. Log, date, and file it in your brain, in your records. So that way when you need to, you can say, okay, this is what this feels like. So, or even when you elevate, right? When you change a new, or when you go through something hard, or maybe when they come in, you get triggered and you just go, okay, now I know what peace feels like. I can go back to that. I know what feeling happy is like. I'm going to go back to that. Right. So I mean, like me starting this channel, right? I mean, it was so hard because, and I was like, I'll do another thing about and be a little bit more transparent with you guys because I do desire to be transparent without, being overwhelming or giving too much personal information. But just to be transparent because even now it's like, well, I was going through all that, trying to build this business. I'm working 40 hours or plus a week. I'm being gang stalked. I'm having this obsessed child sex offender nonetheless, who has a thing for Black women, especially dark-skinned Black women, and dominating them. She has a thing really for dominating women who are confident, women who are intelligent, right? That's what she has a thing for. Black women. Not just, I mean, like, she specifies Black women. And one thing that I have realized with people with narcissism who are malignant narcissists, they will exploit the weak because they don't want the fight, right? Even though they'll tell you, oh, I like, and there may be some who do like the fight, right? Depending on, their background, their upbringing, right? Like, it's not, you don't always have poor malignant narcissists. Pardon me, you don't always have gangbangers who are, malignant narcissists. Um, you don't, you know what I mean? You don't always have that. But um the bottom line is that they want to have control, and they like it when you wrestle them. But they only like it when you wrestle them when they feel that they have control, and you're wrestling with them is kind of like them having you by the throat and watching you squirm. That's, but when they're not able to do that, they get offended, right? And so with this person that uh had tortured us. I mean, like, this person, so I'll go more into detail, but she had tortured us. I mean, she had tried to kill my dog on several occasions. She's paying people. The last thing, which was the last straw, was them actually hiring a fellow cult and gang member to assassinate me. And I don't know why, but the grace of God. I mean, literally, but the grace of the Most High, because suddenly it was Comic-Con, and Rosario Dawson. For some, I guess the Most High knew that that was going to get my attention. If they said, "Oh well, Rosario's going to be at this Comic-Con," it's like, I'm not going to be able to see her. Like, really? Let's get some reality here. I'm not. we don't we don't dissociate that deep anymore. you know we're okay with reality. It's like, but that did get my attention, but it got me to thinking, it's like, I don't want to live the rest of my life. So while I'm doing these, getting my channel prepared, doing my preparing my coursework, my uh trying to do my documentary, and that got interrupted so many times, right? um writing scripts, trying to do short films, trying to get clients for music videos, then also doing coaching on the side, and to the point where I was just like, I can't get anything done because this person keeps sabotaging me. I mean, like, literally, see, with narcissists, malignant narcissists, pathological jealousy and envy is a sickness. It's a disease of a demon possessed creature with an entity that comes from a realm where there is no light. And because there is no light, they hate that we shine. So this person who is a worshiper of these demons, who is a house, is an open vessel for them to reside in, uh, was going after me because I was getting a healthy, fitter body. They wanted me. I mean, like, this woman, I had stopped talking to her like years ago. So imagine you stopped talking to somebody years and years and years ago, and they're still coming after you because in their mind, they're and what one thing with so the gang stalking is justified by, you owe me, I let you stay with me. It was 3 years ago, but they're still on it, right? So for some of you who are still going through, still dealing with malignant narcissists, still dealing with that cluster B personality that wants to break you, right? That, I mean, like, I mean, and maybe I don't think that I'm the only case, but when they tried I mean, it wasn't even, and I thought to myself, how bizarre. How bizarre, but it also let me know how close God is, right? How close my soul tribe and angels were. Because even in talking to you guys about this, it's I don't even know what to say about it. It's like even sharing it, it's because I went through it and nobody else saw it. That crazy making. If I One thing that I learned on the streets is emotional intelligence, and how to not get overwhelmed, how to not become over emotional about what it is that I'm going through, right? So, I had a situation where somebody told me that they were going to that I was going to do something, and then they reneged on it after a month, and which, could possibly put me in a place that I don't want to be. But because I know that I'm owed, and I'm willing to seek legal action. I am seeking legal action and compensation, because it's not right. You just don't do this to people. And I believe that I was targeted, um, for somebody who is wanted to change their destination. So anyway, but yeah. But anyway, oh my God. Sorry. So, to know that this is what I was working on, right? And I noticed that when I transitioned, I said, "Oh my gosh, it feels like I didn't do anything." Right? Like, it was just the weirdest thing, because so prep for this. It's okay. This is natural. When you get out of that abusive relationship with that malignant narcissist, and you can finally fucking breathe. It's like, can you? And oh my gosh, so I was wondering, I said, why is this? And The Wiz is my favorite movie. It's a classic. I mean, anything with Diana Ross is a classic. And so The Wiz with Michael Jackson and Diana Ross, his best friend, and and that with Eveline and all that. And it kept playing, snippets of that kept playing on TikTok with this one user. And I don't follow her, but I'm like, she keeps coming up in my FYP. And I hadn't posted in a while anyway, because I was just like, I was exhausted, so here I am, I'm working, I'm trying to build a business, I'm trying to build a coaching business, I'm trying to build, my video production company. I'm trying to just, build my brand. I'm trying to build multiple brands, right? And I'm people somebody's trying to kill me. um I mean, I literally had this person over across the street doing these incantations and chants. But see, when people engage in witchcraft, they cover themselves so that nobody can see them. The demon is literally camouflaging them. And I mean, my angels have camouflaged me so that nobody sees me, right? They've also, I mean, they've done some stuff that I'm like, okay, cool. So again, these are fallen. Somebody said these are fallen angels. These are demons that never. But and I don't really agree with them being fallen angels. Somebody actually said that. I was like, there's no angel among them. I mean, I know the crap but you got to understand um who's translating. There's no angels among them. These are pure reptiles. These are reptilians. And the reason why I say that, so you're going to hear a lot from me on these podcasts, talking about just being honest, just laying it bare, talking about what I have seen in the spiritual world that has been thrown at me from these Santa Muerte Norteños cult members that I dealt with for over 12 years. So, and to still have this person coming for me, but because, the Most High was like, you need to leave because I can't get to them if you're still here, because I don't want you to get through the fallout. Now, isn't that love? Isn't that love? Come on now. Isn't that love? And it didn't, because I was pushing, 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 pushing. And I said, I can't, you know. And I also said, it's like, I don't know where to go. I'm not well traveled. So where do I go? And so, oh, that was a thing that I missed out again. Excuse me, my brain fog, but I'm still going to keep it pushing. One thing about me, I can make something out of nothing. You know, I can make something out of nothing. And I think many of us can. We learn that, especially if you're Generation X. We can make something out of nothing. Right. And that's what was pissing this person off. Like, they were supposed to, this person was literally trying to use my skin as her bodysuit. Like, I got stories, Phoenixes, for days. This person was like, I mean, just the crazy shit that I wouldn't think of, you know, like, I don't know of anybody who would think of uh, trying to take over, insert their own spirit into somebody else's body because they believe that they are getting blessed. Just because, and I've said this on many podcasts, I saw my soulmate and they are absolutely gorgeous and they are well known. And I'm not about that lifestyle though, right? I am a granola minimalist, you know, uh, intellectual kind of. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm a poor actor. I'm a filmmaker, but I'm more like, you know, Robert Bresson. I'm just like, let's just be organic. Let's get what's in the shot. I don't want a doll. I love special effects, don't get me wrong. I love it, especially when they're done right, you know, like, you know, but but so this person thought that oh hush, my fur baby Prosperity wants me to get off, um, so they can go to sleep. um, they want me to go to sleep with them, sweethearts. So anyway, but this person was looking into my Akashic records and without my permission, but it was before I knew how to seal it up. So when I was living with her and I told her, I was like, yes, I went to school to be a filmmaker and that's my goal, you know, is to have my own film business and, you know, do videos, weddings, start out with doing weddings or whatever. And, you know, it's just get over being shy and get over that rejection. And that's exactly what it taught me. That's exactly what being homeless taught me. And that's exactly what um, being under her tyranny had taught me, was to get over that fear that I was indeed more than enough, you know? And that because you hear people, it's like, I got everything that I need. Why am I not? Because somebody's blocking me. I was like, why don't I not have any views? I started out on TikTok, especially, and because of my personality, right? So they were trying to drain my energy, and I'd get to trying to do posts and do podcasts, and you know, I mean, I would literally have somebody just, it was almost as if like stirring up my brain, right? Like I just unfocused and would I'm so tired of this tickling of my throat because it wasn't happening before. um you know, just you know, just this craziness. So I was being attacked because this person was remote viewing me, right? And so now it didn't matter again. You can use all your spiritual tools. I would rather you guys use your spiritual tools and still have them come back, because it strengthens you. Because then I started to do, because what you're going to do is you're going to end up asking the Most High, hey, why is this person still coming through? And really, it's not because you're not doing the right thing. It's not because you're not protecting yourself. It's not because you're not sealed in the heavenly realms. It's because this person is literally gone berserkers. Okay, so this person is now in a psychosis because the overwhelming desire to control, to dominate, when they know that, okay, from whatever she saw in my Akashic records, after, and let me finish this, after I told her that I was a filmmaker, she kind of looked up and she goes, wow, like she saw something. And it was from then on that she's like, oh, she grafted herself in. to my life, to my destiny, whatever it was that she saw. Because whatever she saw, I didn't see. I was because I was discombobulated from having to spend 3 nights. I was hurt, torn to shreds, you know, emotionally. Like, but I was still keeping it together because I'm that type of person. I'm gonna smile. I'm gonna cry, but I'm gonna smile and I'm gonna laugh and I'm gonna keep it moving. That's what saved my life. That's one of many tools that saved my life, you know, and it would piss people off because it's like they wanted to see me suffer because to them I had to pay, right? Because I'd moved to a city that was run by gang stalkers, a gang thinking that they owned California, right? And that's to her admits. I've said this already. I'm not going to rehash it, but you know, so a tip is when you move on and you know, you all of a sudden it's like you don't know. Because when I first got here I was like, I don't know what the hell to do. Like, I don't even know, is this real? Is this real? Do I have, I mean, are we done? Is it over? Right? This is what the Most High said. The Most High gave me a vision since I'm image prone. The Most High gave me a vision and said, of the hero's journey, right? Study that, you guys, the hero's journey. So the hero's journey is you know, you got these stages of being a hero, and then uh and then at the last stage, you know, towards the last, it's like the third act, right? You think everything's cool, you think you're okay, you think that you'll have such and such and such and such, and then all of a sudden here comes that demon raising its ugly head. Like, what Walt Disney movie haven't you seen, that have you seen that hasn't had that in there, right? I mean, that's just serious stuff. It's just, it's real. It happens in real life too. It's not just animation. Um, so that's I'm sorry, I have to look back at it because they're, you know, they're so sweet, but they're so funny at the same time. And it's like so so basically he was saying, yeah, this bitch is gonna pop her head up again. It's gonna pop her head up again. You know, and she did. Like, it did not take very long, and you know, um but again, I'm going through it so I can share with you how I do it, right? I'm going through it. This is somebody I never dated. This is somebody literally like that, you know, single white female shit, you know, that movie. um this is somebody that's on that kind of stuff, right? She's like, oh, okay, well, I'm she didn't believe in it, she opened my eyes to the world of witchcraft, the other realms. She opened my eyes to the benefits of fasting because I had to fast. Like, she was throwing everything at me, including the kitchen sink and the refrigerator. Like, that's how serious it was getting. Like, because she was not winning. Because I was fasting, I was on another realm. I was able to focus. I was able to focus my prayers. I was able to focus my energy. That's when I started to realize how powerful I truly am. See, then that's why how I really realized that when controlling my mind and not allowing somebody to come into my conscious or subconscious or unconscious mind on any level, in any realm or any dimension, right? I learned how to clear them out. I learned how to call back my energy and charge for the rental. That's what I learned. And so, and I realized, I see a lot of people. Here's what kind of does upset me, because I don't have a lot. I mean, I'm great, so grateful for the hundred subscribers. Thank you so much. I really love you guys. Thank you so much. I mean, even if you come across the video and you don't really want to watch it, please just give it a thumbs up. Just to, you know, because I can't go live on TikTok because I outed my abuser. Uh, and she was watching. She has had multiple accounts, and she was watching, and she flagged my account because I put her picture up there. I got tired of it because she had just attacked me, and I got tired of it, and I put everything up there. I put her whole face up there, and so I got banned. So this is the YouTube is one of them, one of the other only places that I can go live right now besides Instagram, and I'm really not doing this. I want to save Instagram um, for more ads, I think, right? We got all these social media, and sometimes we try and put the same content on the same platform, and so I've just decided, like, okay, no. As I'm transitioning and rebranding, um I'm going to do certain platforms are only for certain things, right? Like for TikTok is just posting, snippets of the podcasts on YouTube to bring people here to YouTube and build up my following there. It's really easy for, people to get on TikTok, but to get likes and subscribes on TikTok, but it's really hard for YouTube here. And I think that that's probably because of their mass uh, culling of truth tellers, and so nobody wants to really come here anymore. But I mean, I'm on here every day because they got some cool chill and dubstep music, and helps me just to relax. And so that's another. So here are my tips for when you phoenixes have transitioned out of relationships to abusive relationships, and especially relationships with cluster B personalities or narcissists, is that you just love yourself. That's what I did. I'm going through something currently right now that could put me back on the streets, and I don't uh, when my body started to relax, and I mean, like, I've gained weight, and that's that stress fat, because I started eating, because it's like now I can taste the food, but I instead what did wasn't that I went and porked out, but when your digestive system is under such stress, and all your chemicals are off, and you've been producing this high amount of cortisol for so flippin' long, you know what I mean? It's like I just had to finally say, I'm probably not, because, and that's something that I have to deal with. I mean, my goal was to get under a certain weight, keep it off, and because I desired to also do fitness, and get people into fitness and stuff. So I mean, I'm, like I said, I'm multi-talented and multifaceted, but it's like you wouldn't think it, in certain areas like this. So anyway, it's just to love yourself. It's just I mean, I had to really sit down with myself. I mean, when I started to feel my whole entire body, especially, like I said, my digestive system, yes, my belly got real fat, and I wasn't eating any more than I had been before. I was still doing smoothies. I was still walking. I actually walked to work 3 miles, right? And take the train because I get off in night, and so it's like I'm not. So I walked 3 miles, um, 5 days a week, sometimes seven if they call me in for extra hours. And so I'm still getting my exercise. I actually went to the gym again yesterday, and it was just like, oh my God, it felt so foreign, right? But that's what it feels like when you have somebody attached to you and you're having to work around them. Let's say that you have this tick that's attached to your head, and you've put all the Vaseline and you've lit that bitch on fire, and it still, it seems to go away or stops sucking your blood, but then it comes back or starts up again. You know what I mean? To actually be able to have that thing off and keep it off it's like, I just, you know what I mean? It's like I had to live like that. We've had to live under a dictatorship, and we learned to navigate that. So when you transition and you're like, oh God, I'm fat and I'm ugly and I'm undesirable, because that's where I was going with it. You know what I mean? I haven't been dating for anybody for 20 years, dude. I mean, that's not an exaggeration. um and because I at that time, it was like, it was just like, I'm not going to find anything, because I'm not going to find anybody who's not going to want to beat me or not going to want to control me, right? I mean, screw looks, right? You know what I mean? I still got that same energy. It's the energy that most people are attracted to. It's not necessarily your looks, it's what they think. Do you have that motherly energy, right? Do you have something? Do you have that charismatic personality that I can utilize for myself? You see what I'm saying? So I was meeting people like that, and too often. So I just didn't care. I just didn't care. And then that's how it is right now. Like I walk and my belly's all hanging out, and I walk past the reflection off of businesses, their windows and stuff, and I'm just like, you know what? I love you. I love you if nobody else does. You know, and I've had a lonely road in this life, man. Like I have not had family, friends, even when I did have friends, I didn't trust that they would stay. So it's that double-edged sword, you know? Like you get go on this, and that's the thing that um people with narcissism, that's what my dad wanted from me, and he carried on, and I didn't understand that with this I didn't understand that that's what he was doing until I started going through, what I was going through with this gang stalker and the gang stalking and stuff. It's like, okay, well, we're not gonna. That's why I've said in other podcasts, they don't let you go even when you leave, but you may not have one that's going to stalk you, right? You may have one that has so many, in the stables that they're good, you know this person but if you get somebody who has a low self-esteem, you know and they don't take rejection and abandonment well, because they know that they can't get anybody, and I mean, see, that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of times it's not the looks, because sometimes I think that I'm just ugly as, and I go through this too, Phoenixes. You know what I mean? It's like it's not every day is a peachy day and I have everything centered. There's some days that I'm like, oh my God, how can you even go out and walk outside, you know but I fight it and I tell myself the opposite. You know what I mean? Because I know it's just emotions. I know that it's me assimilating what the world thinks of me, but the world doesn't know what I've been through. The world doesn't know what you've been through, right? I was going to talk about this and I should have talked about it at the beginning, but I'm going to get off here pretty soon. I'm sorry it's so long, and hopefully I haven't bored you guys to pieces. If you guys have related to any of this, just let me know in the comments and what you've related to and what you'd like to hear more about. Because I'm going to start getting really real again. I do have, I mean, when you transition, you go through brain fog. You get, some headaches and stuff, because what they've done, the demon has done, is literally just play with your head and siphoned your energy. That's what I mean. There's times where I have felt, I forget what anime it is, or like when you see anime characters and it's the brother, the brother sister kind of trope, and Oni-chan, and the young boy does something and the girl goes and kind of sucks on his head, right? That's what it feels like. Right? Like I was having these guys try to dull my creativity. So on the right side of my brain, I would feel very numb. I would feel like I had something hanging on it. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but that's the way I felt. I even had somebody switch over to the left side of my brain and only try and cover like a quarter of the back. Like, I mean, see, when people do stuff to me, they don't understand. I can see you. If you are really deeply and intense into it, I can see you. Because I know, and I've said this before, when you know yourself, when you know, you can hear, when you work through all the things all the trauma, right? Even the little minute stuff, when you work through that and you get clearance, you get cleared, and you get a relationship with the Most High, and how your relationship, not the one that I have with mine, right? Like not the one that I have with mine, the one that you need for yours, for whatever that your personality. God didn't create us to be monolithic. He didn't create us to be, androids. We are very eclectic, So, I mean, I listen to all different kinds of music. I just this it's just different. So but when you do the work, when you go through the 4 steps that I take my clients through, the 8-week program is going to take you through what you're who, what, when, and why, how, and all that stuff, and what you were dealing with. And then we're going to delve into you, so that way when you know what you were dealing with on the outside of you, when you can go back and forth from focusing on what was yours and what was theirs. So you can identify not just what was theirs, because a lot of times we say, okay, well, you did that, but we got to know the science, so to speak, behind it, right? I didn't know why my dad didn't like me. He didn't like me because I was a black woman, you know, which is ironic, but yeah, he didn't, it wasn't just that. It was that he didn't like my spirit. He didn't like that I could see through him. I can look at somebody and read them, right? So, and again, loving yourself. If you feel like your intuition is dull, your clairs are dull, right? Your spiritual prowess is dull. Because of dealing with the malignant narcissists and the cluster B cocktail. Love on yourself, because it will come back. I know that, do I personally, I'm going to have a class specifically on the mantra that I chanted to get through certain things that I still chant today. And I mean, I got a whole, there's thousands of mantra, right? And but not uh every Indian teacher is a guru, right? I mean, they're not really authentic. Like, there's now they're taking there's you can get authentic yoga from an actual person who's practiced in India, who's from India, born there, right? In different areas or whatever. But I noticed with them, some of it's so Europeanized that they won't pronounce it right, and pronunciation is absolutely key for whatever. And it's like, well, why can't you just say your affirmations? Because affirmations are just declarations. I mean, they work too, but when you are actually speaking on that vibration, you're speaking an ancient language, is what you're actually speaking, right? Like the pyramids were moved by sound. Sound vibrates, right? We've seen this little scientific videos that are showing that they're at this frequency, they can levitate this ping pong ball, right? So if you can levitate a ping pong ball at a certain frequency, how much would it for frequency take for you to levitate a brick? Which also should put in perspective when people are doing witchcraft, to try and change somebody else's destiny, when that goes back to them because they have a seal of protection on them, or they have angels in a soul tribe that is protecting them, or they have the mantra to recite, so that again, words do not return unto you void. They have the mantra to recite, so that it goes back to you, because you have ill will towards me. Your intentions are evil towards me, and I'm minding my own business, right? So, yeah, it's very, so that was my thing. I wrote down at work, with spiritual attacks, if you believe it would manifest. If you believe, this is why these guys, throw rocks and hide their hands. That's they're cowards during spiritual warfare. They don't play fair, right? So that means that you have to keep your pipes clean. You have to keep you have to keep your mind clean, because if you don't know, I had people when I transitioned, I said, okay, I don't know, because I had experienced somebody trying to pretend to be one of my guides. No joke. Because these guys that I'm dealing with, or had been dealing with, they're getting ready to get their asses handed to them, which I'm so grateful, because then I can focus on you guys, right? Um, she pretended, the succubus pretended to be one of my guides. And not only that, she pretended to be also my kin, but she didn't know that I was already my kin had done something, and I was like, okay, I'm over it. I'll still pray for you, because I'm not that type of, I'm not going to be raunchy like that, but I love you. I'm going to pray for you, but you just did something that is non-negotiable, right? So, not knowing that I felt that way, I guess she wasn't able to tap into that. She was pretending to be her. And so this person was trying to tell me to move, 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 move. And so when I heard a female voice say, "Hey, move, 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 move," um I didn't know who it was, right? And so sometimes, and to be honest with you, I'm still not sure, but I know that the Most High, the person, if they wanted to sabotage me, because here's the thing, one of them thought, and this is what I sensed, was that one of them thought, okay, now that you've moved, now I can have sex with you. Now I can, you know what I mean? I can interrupt your day. You know what I mean? Because now you're basically, they thought, because you've moved, you're going to think that you're safe, and I'm going to exploit that safety that you feel by coming in and doing what I've been waiting to do the whole time. And that spirit of lust was really there, that it was there intensely, but I recognized it, because that the person who was directing, has several demonic attachments to her, um she she uh mutated into a reptilian kind of uh lizard, like, on her belly. And it wasn't the first time that I saw it, dude. I mean, like, I mean, like, I got stories for days, which I've been aching to get to. But she came, it was like literally like slithered over my head, down my chest, down my legs, and kind of wrapped around. And I was like, oh my God, like, you know what I mean? So when I say that I can see you, I mean that I can see you. That's a gift, that's a hand me down, right? So I don't know about, like, what I'm finding is, in this woke space where people are using words that they really don't know the definition to, or know the definition to, and are ascribing it to themselves, and it's not real, you know like, I actually saw this was, so that's what was getting me, because this person especially wanted to still have, I mean, it's weird how these guys kind of have, when you're dealing with cluster B personalities, and I've never had women as stalkers until now. And this person, so she thought, oh, she's with a man, she does lesbianism on the down low, and she's a gold digger. So her whole thing is to get money from men and women. She does not have a job. Like, she door dashes to pay for her marijuana and her meth. That's why she does DoorDash, right? That's why she'll do. I think it's Postmates that she was doing at when you know, she was showing me. See, I got a job. I'm like, because when her quote unquote married husband, and married husband kicked her out for cheating on him. Like, she was caught. Um, she came back to the hotel that I was staying at, where I first met her, and she couldn't stay there because she didn't know what the fuck she was doing. She didn't have the money. She was pretending, like, to me, like she had it all together, right? Like, oh, well, our business and and our company and our this and our that. And she wasn't doing anything but sleeping with this man's cousins. Like, no joke, I'm not kidding. And sleeping with a woman who sold nails, who was already married, who just had a baby. I mean, just like, she was doing a whole bunch of stuff, and so um she was hell bent on trying to change to graft herself in and to change my destiny, right? And so you'll find people like that. It's like, and that's what I want people to understand, is that they will break through layers. That's why it's so hard, because it's like when you meet a malignant narcissist, it's like having a slug, an entity attached to you that is slowly eroding every layer of your being, you know, under the guise of being your soulmate, because they've been watching you and you haven't been. See, they prey on people and their humanness. That's why, there's some uh collective narcissistic cultures who have survived because they study the human mind, right? They study the human brain. They study the eyes. They study all this stuff. They study it all so that that way they can know what to attack and win, right? So let's say if you're going to turn and you'll be blinded, you won't be able to see anything out of your peripheral, then that's when they should attack. That's what they're telling themselves, right? That actually happened to me when I had this one lady who cut my dog's eye out of a dare from her cult, you know? Because not all the time are we expecting to have to continue to deal with somebody like this, right? The level of toxicity, oh my God, it's gorgeous. The level of toxicity is just absolutely absurd, right? And it's scary, it's horrifying. Like, I don't know anybody, Phoenixes, that would not be horrified by some of the things that I have seen, by some of the things that you have seen, by some of the things that you have had to deal with. Like, who would not be terrified? Who would not be terrified? And let me be honest, I'm going to get off here, but I didn't mean for this to be this long. I'm so sorry, guys. But it is, hey, I am in recovery, right? I am in recovery from I think for the first time today I said domestic, or yesterday I said domestic violence. I'm in recovery, you know? And I didn't want to say anything about it, but I'm in recovery. So my brain is fogged. I mean, like I just got back to, being in a new environment where I don't have to put up with that stuff, but I'm still having witchcraft. And that's what's amazing. I'm so far away, but the witchcraft is still in the atmosphere. It's not hitting as hard, but it's still in the atmosphere, Um, and having to heal and just loving myself, and that's what I think for you guys have to remember: love yourself, love your body. Know that that's stress fat, and somebody said it, the stress fat is the reason why you start eating, is because now you're craving this comfort and da 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 da, right? And so, and I know that, right? But it's like I was talking to a coworker, and he was a big guy. He's really handsome, but he was a big guy, and he started eating better, and eating his calories, all that stuff, and we were talking, and I said, you wouldn't know. I said, we talked about stress fat, because I said, you wouldn't know, for 3 years, I was like intermittent fasting and doing high reps to tone up. You wouldn't know it, because it was the stress. So I wasn't losing any weight, and sometimes I was gaining, right? So when we get out of that type of environment, it's kind of like our like the Nutty Professor with Eddie Murphy, it's kind of like our body just goes bloop, 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 you know, like ooh, we can relax now. That's how when I was talking to you guys about my digestive system, and it's like that's how my digestive system felt. It was like I was literally crying because of the release. because I felt my digestive system release. It was crying. That's your third brain. That your gut is your third brain, right? You have, or your third, well, brain. The heart is is your brain, other brain, and your brain is your brain, right? So that's your guts, your third brain. And so it was, basically it was just like, oh God, where are we out? Like, and it did it again today because I was under a little bit of stress, and I was attacked again. And these guys always attack my digestive system. They always attack it. You know, they've attacked my face. They've attacked, I mean, they just attacked a whole bunch of stuff. Like I remember, anyway, I'm not going to go into because I don't need to end this video. I'm sorry it's so long. I'll chop it up if I can, but it is live. So I guess you guys just, skip through. But yeah, so just love yourself. What I've been doing is just, I'm not stressing out about anything. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. Health wise, I can't afford it because again, when your body starts to release, then you know what I mean. It's like, okay, you know, I'm having aches and pains where I never thought that I would have aches and pains because whatever. Um, but yeah, it's been a release. So just love yourself, journal, allow yourself to cry, allow yourself to laugh, you know, go for a 1, 2, 3 mile uh, hike, walk, get some exercise to help you purge. Cry helps you to release all of their toxicity, right? I still have people who remote view me. I still have people who are astral projecting towards me because they were feeding off of me, right? And these demons don't take no for an answer, but it does not mean that you can't go on with your life. Even if you still have somebody in your energy, just wash. What I do is I wash up. And I mean, it's unbelievably how good it feels, right? So anyway, Phoenix says, just love on you. This was a topic about gang stalking narcs and how to know who is who in spiritual warfare. And who was just how to know your guides and your the Most High's voice. As I did mention, it's like, okay, because I had somebody in my energy who was trying to convince me to leave before I needed to, right? But the way that I gauged it, the way that I tested it, it was because God wanted me to get a job. The devil wouldn't have wanted me to get a job. They wanted me to be homeless. They wanted me to be homeless again, right? That was an offense for me to dare to get up off the streets in one piece and to be happy and to be motivated and to be starting a YouTube channel, a TikTok channel, and start talking about motivating other people and creating online workshops and programs, writing a book, doing my documentary. That's a no-no because I'm supposed to be dead. So think about that, Phoenixes, before you start focusing on, oh God, all the weight that I've stress fat that I've gained, or how ugly I feel, and undesirable I feel, or gosh, I made a setback. I mean, I'm making $8 less, and I have, and it's not the perfect job, but I'm came here to make $8 less. But and I thought to myself, it's so weird how everything just works out though, right? I was able to make, even though in $8 less, I'm still being able to, you know, do what I need to do because I get discounts and stuff, So just count your blessings, do a gratitude list, and let yourself know, look at yourself in the mirror and say over and over and over again until you feel warm in your belly that you love yourself. Say your name and tell yourself how much you love you because you got through because you weren't supposed to make it. And I'm living proof. You weren't supposed to make it, Phoenix, and you did. So go check out my links in the bio and the description. Give me some feedback, likes, hit the bell so you get notified if when I post again. And again, I love you guys. Thank you for your patience with me because, as I said, I'm transitioning and getting, just rebranding. But I wanted to really just get out there and let you guys know I'm still here. So this is Transformational Coach T, and your blessings are in your ashes. Rise, Phoenix.